Hello, my name is Jana. I live in a forest. Today I want to talk about photography, memory keeping, and file management. Um, I used to take photography relatively seriously. I had a lot of cameras. Um, I had big cameras, small cameras, film cameras, phone cameras, all kinds of things. I was given broken film cameras from old time ago just because people thought that I was into photography so much. Um, but those times have passed, but I still have some insight into what do you actually do with photographs after they're taken, because we all take more photographs now than we did, say, 20 years ago. And our relationship with photography has changed. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. Ever since 2009, my main camera looked something like this. And it's an iPhone. And it's great for a multitude of reasons. Um, One of them is it's a camera that's always with me, and as we know, that's the best camera. Next, at some point, the quality of the images was comparable to my big cameras, and for my everyday use, I didn't need a big camera anymore. And after I stopped taking photographs at concerts, I didn't need a big camera anymore. So the quality of the photographs was enough for me to stop using any kind of big professional gear, which weighs a lot and costs a lot, and yeah, it's more difficult to maintain, and it's a different story for a different time. The third reason is that the file management and everything that um, happens to the photographs is pretty much automatic. I don't have to think about uh, storing photographs, archiving, making sure that nothing gets lost. Um, it just it's done for me by uh, Apple, and that's a good thing and a bad thing, because when everything is done automatically, we don't have a lot of thought and intention into the way we keep our files. Back in the day, when I took a camera, something like this, I still have one. I don't use it very much, but I have it. And if I happen to be in the mood to go out and take some photographs on a camera that's a single purpose device, after I'm done taking photographs, I need to go home. I need to take out the memory card. I need to put it into a computer, download the files from the memory card, and then I go through them. I delete the ones that I don't think I need. Some people don't delete anything, they just archive everything, and then they pick the best ones and kind of display them. That's an approach. And what I would do, I would delete the ones that are totally bad, and then I would use Lightroom to kind of pick the best ones, and the best ones I would put in a export into a different folder, and then I would archive everything and put it onto a DVD or a hard drive. I would let it just sit there for eternity and do nothing with those files. I still have a hard drive, an external hard drive that you need to plug into electric to make sure that it works. And it has the majority of my photo archive from the olden days on it. This approach, where you have to do everything by hand, basically, is very intentional. That's actually part of the skill of a photographer. You have to be able to choose which photographs are good ones and which are bad ones. And you have to be pretty heartless about that, because when you shoot thousands of photographs, you have to be kind of ruthless when you choose which ones to keep and which ones to let go. So I have the skill. I have the skill. I know how to pick the photographs that I like. A little tip: if two photographs are so similar that you cannot choose, it probably doesn't matter. And that's the hardest thing. Anyway, with my iPhone photography, I don't have to do anything ever because I'm paying for my iCloud and everything gets handled for me, and I don't have to think about this. But I have kind of a couple rituals that I have in my reminders, that in the beginning of the month I go through my photos from the previous month and just delete all the obvious junk, like screenshots, things that I took photographs of to remember, like I need to buy this thing, and I, I, I get rid of all the duplicates. And what is left is a relatively clean library, but it maybe doesn't have all the best photos in there, but it kind of captures everything that happened for me. I would also delete the video files because I take them for YouTube, and after I'm done with them, I usually have them archived somewhere else. So that's part one of my rituals. Part two is in the beginning of the year, like right now, I can go back and clean my library once more the whole year, and I'm going to be looking at all the photographs that are not masterpieces, basically. Like, I have this question in my head: is it a masterpiece? Is this a unique memory? Because I have about 100,000 photographs of cats laying on a couch. They're basically the same photographs that I take over and over again because I have a compulsion to take a picture, and that's okay, as long as I don't let those photographs weigh me down too much. So once a year, I go and I clear all of my archive, and I make sure that the cats are limited to only the best pictures of cats are allowed to stay in my library. So that's what I do with my iPhone photographs. Some time ago, I had a think about what if I get rid of my iPhone and replace it with a bunch of single purpose things, like I have an iPod, it lives in my car. What if I replace my notes with a pocket notebook, and what if I basically take all the functions of an iPhone and distribute them between other devices, because uh, that's what's trending right now. So I thought, well, maybe I could give it a go. It feels very tempting, but I had a lot to think about that, and actually, I don't think that that's what I should do, because I'm not glued to my phone like some people. I don't do a lot of social media, and that's why my phone basically is used as a flashlight, as maps, and as a camera. And I don't need to let it go. The thing that sucks most of my time and is a distraction machine looks like this. It's an iPad mini. It's a perfect little device and I love it a lot. Anyway, I started thinking about what would happen if I had to take photographs with a dedicated single-use device, like a camera. What if I had a camera on me at all times? What if I used it to take pictures instead of an iPhone? And I realized that I could still take those photographs manually, intentionally, and put them into my library, like at the end of the month. This way, I would have some photographs that I can quickly access and look at. And I have a bunch of pictures from my travels that are not in my library because they were taken on an actual photo camera a long time ago. So, the next thing I thought, well, I can go through my old files and maybe look at some photographs and put them in my library right now. And this way I'm going to have them on display. But as I mentioned before, one of the photography principles that I have drilled into my head is that a digital photograph is not really a photograph. It's a possibility of a photograph. And in order to realize this possibility, you need to print it. And I like printing photographs and putting them on walls and stuff, but I don't have a lot of wall space and I have a lot of photographs. But I thought that you remember photo albums? And we used to print everything. That was just the default. You just print everything. And then those photo albums were a bit of a mess because you go somewhere and you shoot a bunch of film and then you get it developed. And some photographs are better than others, but you don't throw away the bad ones because you paid money for them. And you put everything in an album. That was a different process back then, and everything was different. But what I thought is, well, what if I take a year worth of photographs and I put them into a photo book? Because there are services available that kind of will print you a photo book of your photographs, and this way I could put them on a shelf and I could flip through them, and this way I could have a little bit of a memory that's in a physical, grabbable form, and I could just, have my photographs printed without. I know that I'm rediscovering photo albums for myself, but I think that that's what I'm going to do, actually. And I will report on the process, but what I'm going to do right now is just, as usual, go through my photographs from the previous year. To be completely honest, I didn't really do a very good job of going through the photographs monthly, so I have a lot of junk there, and that's why I was putting it off. Usually, if you spend like 10 minutes a month to just go through the photographs from the previous month, it doesn't take a lot of time to go through the year. But if you didn't go through your photographs for the whole year, it's going to be very, very intimidating. And that's why I'm trying to avoid doing it right now. But I will. I will sit down and get it done. And after that, I'll be able to choose maybe 100, maybe 200 photographs and put them in a book, print them, and put it on a shelf. Wouldn't that be nice? I hope that this little video brightened your day. I have a lot of things planned actually for this month, and hopefully I will see you next week and we'll do something interesting then. Okay,